Hi friends, Shannon here with Cards by Shannon Lee. I am here today to share with you a card I'm going to create, and I'm also doing a giveaway. I am using this stencil by Stamperia. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always want to say Stamperia, but I know that's not how you pronounce it. So Stamperia is the creator of this stencil, and I believe it is called Move and Live Heart. I have 3 of these stencils to give away, plus I will be giving away cards that I've created using the stencil. This stencil is 7 by 7, so I'm only going to use a portion of the stencil to create my background, and we'll get to that in just a second. Let me tell you the things that you need to do in order to win one of these stencils. You have to watch the entire video and collect the secret words along the way. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment or an emoji below, and sign up for my newsletter. What you will get with being signed up for my newsletter is notification that YouTube isn't always very good at notifying you of when my videos go live. Also, when I do giveaways, which I do them very often. If you know me and have visited my channel before, I do them usually at least once a month. And also things like the Card Maker Success Summit that I'm participating in that I'll get to in just a minute. But the final thing after signing up for the newsletter is to complete the entry form. All of the links are in the description box below. And also, if you forget what all of the steps that you have to do to enter the giveaway, those will be linked in the description box below. Okay, so this is a stencil that we're going to use. And I had mentioned that I'm participating in the Card Maker Success Summit. That summit starts on, February 26th and runs through March 1st. In order to sign up for the summit, there is a link in the description box below. I'm actually creating this card in the summit. The title of my presentation goes live if you are just interested in the free summit pass. My presentation goes live on Saturday the 28th, and it is called The Best Way to Add Color to Your Dry Embossed Folder Images. Now, what I'll show you is how I get this look without using a stencil on my embossed images that I get with an embossing folder. Yeah, dry emboss. You know what I mean. Okay, so that is that. I'll get started on the card that I'm going to create with the stencils that I'm giving away, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the summit. Okay, first let me tell you the colors that I'm going to use. I'm using G29, G24, and G20 for the leaves on my stencil, or on my stenciled image. Oh, let me back up a second. Before I start coloring, I want to tell you a little bit about the ink. I've gone ahead and already stenciled this image using that stencil I just shared. And I wanted to tell you what are ideal inks to use when you're stenciling to get the look that I'm creating. Now, I've used the Jellyfish ink by Lawn Fawn, but if you don't have the Jellyfish ink, you can use the Distress ink in the color Antique Linen, or there's another ink that is really awesome that I like to use, which is called Shadow Mark by Crafter's Companion. I'm not sure the status of Crafter's Companion. I've heard that they are sold or closed not shipping to the US. I've heard a lot of things. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but if you're interested in purchasing this ink after I tell you a little bit about it, you can get it at catscrappiness.com. I'll have a link in the description box. And what that ink does is it is a disappearing ink. So if you just stencil this ink using a blending brush or a foam pad to stencil through your stencil, to apply ink through your stencil. There we go. Then when you're finished coloring, you can disappear, because this ink is blue, you can disappear the ink by using like a heat tool that you would do embossing, like embossing powder, to melt embossing powder. Use a heat tool to warm up the ink and it disappears. It's really great if you like to do like scene cards or one-layer cards without masking. You can stamp different stamps that overlap each other and then just color the image that, have one in front of the other, and you'll be able to see the lines while you're coloring that overlap, but you'll be able to disappear them using the heat tool that will just leave your coloring behind. So it's good for no line coloring also. And that is, if you don't have any of these inks and are not looking to purchase any of them, a light ink that is, I'm going to use Copic markers today, so if you're going to try to recreate the card I create, Copic friendly ink would be ideal, a light Copic friendly. There are inks by Honeybee Stamps and by Hero Arts. The Hero Arts one I believe is called Contour ink. Yeah, Contour ink. I can't remember what the Honeybee ink is called, but it's for no line coloring, and it's basically a light ink. The Distress ink works with the Copic markers because it's really light and the colors that I'm using are dark enough to cover up the color of the antique linen. But yeah, I think I babbled long enough about that. Ooh, gosh, that was loud. Eek. Sorry about that. Okay, so back to the coloring. I'm using G29, G24, and you know what? Yeah, and G20. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of coloring. I've already colored an entire panel, but we'll start with the leaves. And what I like to do with the leaves is with my darkest color, I'm starting with the G29, I'm just going to go underneath the bottom widest portion of the leaf, and then I'm also going to come and give it a little flick up the center. And I'll do that on a few leaves. Flick up the center, just along the bottom. Turn that around. Same thing. Oops, that went a little bit wonky. I always get a little nervous when I'm recording, and I don't know why, because my husband's already gone to bed. It's very late at night, and I know you guys aren't here to be judgmental, but I do get a little nervous. Okay, so on the stems, I'm just going to go along the side of the stem. I'm just going to add 2 colors on the stem, but so I want to leave a little bit of the stem showing. Just go on one side of the stem. I'll do a few more stems. This one has a little branch off. I'll go over the top of that, come down the side of that branch. There we go. Here's another branch. Okay, let me also tell you about the Card Maker Success Summit. I already gave you the dates of the summit, and our first secret word for the giveaway is summit. And there are 3 different options for tickets to the summit. You can sign up for the free pass or the free ticket, and that will give you 24-hour access to the presentations. It goes for 4 days, so each morning during the summit, they will introduce a few of the presentations. You will have 24-hour availability to watch all of the presentations that you can within that 24 hours. And you will also have, let's see, what else is in the basic, is a 300-page summit workbook that comes with a card project planning calculator and transcripts to the summit, or to each of the presentations. Now, there's another option that is called the Basic VIP. And I think I need to back up a little bit. I think what I just gave you were the Basic VIP. You get immediate lifetime access to the presentations, plus the 300-page workbook, plus the transcripts. You don't get the workbook or the transcripts with the free ticket. So what I had told you was in the free ticket is actually the Basic VIP. There's a Premium VIP, and that includes, what does it include? It includes exclusive bonuses and discounts, 2 live card making classes with Brandy during the summit, an invitation to a virtual crop, 2 exclusive 1-hour co-working sessions, priority access to summit questions, and that is for the some of the presenters, including me, have opted to do a live Q&A, and links will be sent out for those when you get your links to that day's presentations. And if you opt in for that Premium VIP access, you can ask questions before everybody else of each of the presenters that are doing those Q&As. And then you'll have also access to the next card making class in April. And I believe that's with Brandy. And if you don't know who Brandy is the creator of the Card Maker Success Summit. She is the crafty owner of Stamp Me Some Love and the Card Maker Success Camp. She's got her hands in a few things. She dabbles in a few things, card making. So, okay, let me get back to the coloring. Next is G24, and we're going to just extend out this darker color. I'm going to pull out that little swoosh in the center, and I'm going to come underneath one side, and I'm going to go all the way to the tip of that leaf. Then I'm going to come along, and I'm just kind of blending out that darker color and dragging it a little bit further up that leaf, but leaving a little bit of open area. I don't want to completely outline it. So I'll go over all of the leaves like that, leaving that little bit of open area and just blending out that darker color. So if you are interested in any of the 3 options for the Card Maker Success Summit, there is a link in the description box below that will bring you to the registration for a free ticket. If you're interested in either of the VIP options, there is an early access price that you will be given immediately. If you're interested in those VIP, I would suggest opting into that early access, because that price goes away, I believe, in 20 minutes after you register for that free ticket. So if you're interested in that VIP access, where you get the immediate access to those presentations, so you can watch this summit before everyone else, or at minimum, you can plan out your summit, watch with everybody else, because you get that workbook with the card planning calculator, or project planning calculator. I'm all over the place. You know, I get this way after I haven't recorded a video in a while, and I am sick again for the third time in like 4 months. I've got a sore throat, and I know this is just going around. We didn't get to celebrate, my husband and I didn't get to celebrate Christmas with our family until just a week ago. Our family lives in Northern California, and we had the flu during Christmas, so we chose not to go and get everybody sick. And so we just finally made it up to celebrate with the family. And then I think my great-granddaughter I think she got sick while we were there. You know, school, she's going to school, she's in 1st grade, and kids are little petri dishes, all full of the germs. Okay, so I'm just finishing off this coloring. And let's say the next secret word will be coloring. So if you are collecting those secret words, that's 2. The first one was summit, second one is coloring. There we go. And another thing is, because I color so slow, I'm sure that I'm sounding a little bit like I'm talking really fast, because in post-editing, I usually speed it up, especially when I'm doing coloring, because I just color so slow. So if I sound a little chipmunky, you may want to just slow down the video. You use the little gear. It should be, if you hover over the bottom of the screen on YouTube, you can click that little gear, and you have the option of changing the playback speed. If you slow it down to maybe 75%, I may sound like I'm talking in a little slower manner. Not sound like a chipmunk. Okay, so now I'm just blending out these colors, and I'm just going to do it. I'll go over these stems really quick, not too much, but I'll do a little more blending over the leaves. And you notice how it's covering up that ink color that I've used below, and you get a nice no-line coloring look. And this, I'm really happy with the way these cards have turned out. So I think you should give it a try, especially if you do win one of these stencils. This is a great way to use it. And the reason I chose to do it this way is because it's just one stencil. It's not a layering stencil. So the flowers and the leaves are so close together that it would be kind of tedious to just mask off the leaves just to have access to the little blossoms. And this way I can actually get the look from that really beautiful stencil without giving myself too much work. This is really dark at the bottom here. I'm trying to blend out this funny looking leaf here. Okay, I need a piece of scratch paper to clean off the tip of my marker because it has dark ink on it and I don't want to put it away with the dark ink still on it. There we go. Okay, now the flower blossoms. And the colors I'm using for the flower blossoms are R35, R32, and R30. Starting with the R35, I'm just going to, now each of these blossoms, or each of the flowers, they're 4-petal or 3-petal flowers. I'm going to do a little U right at the bottom of the petal that is facing towards the center of the flower. It's under each petal. Do a little U, really thin line of this darkest color. And I'll do that for several flowers. There we go. I try to keep them, the lines kind of thin. I don't want them very heavy at all because we're going to come in with the other two colors and we really want to kind of drag that darker color around the outside of the flower petal. Let's see. There, that's enough of those. And the next color is R32. Oops, wrong end. Oh, I should take them both off. And now I'm just going to go around the entire, starting at that dark color, I'm going to drag it around the entire petal. So just go, and I'll do it several circles around each petal until I feel like it's dragged that darker red color around the outside of that petal and kind of blended it out a little bit. These flowers are really cute, really ditzy looking. I think that's what you call them, little ditzy flowers. I've heard that term somewhere before. I don't remember where. So just dragging that around. I think that'll be our next secret word. Number 3 is going to be ditzy. D-I-T-S-Y, I believe it's spelled. Ditzy. Also, I've been known to be a little ditzy myself. Okay, just about done with those flower petals. Okay, and then our final color, the R30. Just going to blend. I'll do like 3 or 4 circles in the middle of that color, blending it all together, giving it a cute little ditzy flower look. And just about done. This part's a little faster. One thing I didn't mention is the cardstock that I'm using. I'm using the Hammermill 80 pound, and it's the Hammermill with the chameleon on the front. If you are using Copic markers, you always want to, actually no matter what medium you're using, you always want to use a medium that is compatible, or use a paper that is compatible with the coloring medium that you're using. Next color is Y35. And I'm just going to add a little dot in the center of each of those flowers. If you're using colored pencils, you want to make sure that the paper has a little more tooth. So the paper that you would use for Copic markers is not the same paper that you would want to use for colored pencils. And let me show you, here's the coloring that I've done so far, and let me show you what the finished card looks like. Very, or I'm sorry, this is not the finished card, this is the finished background. There we go. Sorry, I'm a little slow tonight. It is, I did mention that it is late. I'm going to add, what are we going to, we're going to add the sentiment to the center, and the sentiment that I'm using is from Cat Scrappiness, and it's called I Love You Shadow Word. The label fell off my package, so I don't remember exactly what it's called, but there'll be a link in the description box if you're interested in purchasing it. It has the sentiment I love you. The love word is in a script font, and the I and the word you are in a capital, what would you call that? Capital, all cap font. There we go. So for the U, I'm going to line it up on my glass mat here, and then I'm going to grab some tape, some low-tack masking tape, and I'm going to pick that up so that I can line it up on my card. I'll add the glue after I pick that up, but now that I know that that's pretty straight, let's get this Y a little closer. A little bit closer. And straighten out that U a little bit, get that a little bit closer. I think that's good, and I'm just going to blot that down, pick up those letters. Now I'll add glue to the back of that. After I put the love word down first, because I want to center that in the middle of the heart. Okay, I'm going to grab my glue. I know this Barely Arts glue is a little bit runnier than the glue that I usually use, but the glue that I usually use I'm almost out of, and it takes me forever to get it to come out of the container. Kind of like this one right now. I don't want to squeeze too hard because I know it's going to come goosh. Ah, there it got started. Okay. It started and then it stopped. Okay, just adding a little bit of glue to the back of this. I'm just adding it. I'll add it like at the top and the bottom of the letters, or in the widest point of the letters, and not so much in the thinner points, maybe a little dot here or there, but always making sure to get the ends and the tops and the bottom so that it stays down and doesn't flop up like when it's going in and out of an envelope. Okay, let's see here. Drop that down right about there. That looks good enough. Better than horrible, better than terrible. Isn't that what Gina K says? Let's see, does that look straight? A little bit straight. Okay, and then, whoops, stuck to my finger. Add the liquid glue to my letters here. And I use some glitter cardstock to cut out the sentiment. And I'm going to use the same glitter cardstock to mat the background on my card. So let's see here. That looks pretty. Well, I probably should straighten out my card and not look at it at an angle. Give that a push down. Give that a second to dry. Let me make sure that's straight. A little bit straight. And the final letter, and then we'll mat it on. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. Because that, I may have mentioned it in the beginning, I'm not sure. Because that stencil is a 7x7, this background is, I have a little sticky note here. The background is 4.5 by 6, and we're bringing a mat in. I think that might be dry enough to take the masking tape off. Yeah, there we go. Is that straight? Can't tell. Okay, the mat, the glitter cardstock mat is 4 7/8 by 6 3/8. And I'm going to add that. I think what we're going to do is actually add the mat to the background, or to the card front first, because I have a little trick that I do to get this. Because this is so floppy, I can't really hold it without squeezing it together. So what I do is I find the placement on here, make sure that's lined up, and the peach colored cardstock is 5.5 by 7. So now that I've got that centered on there, and I also cut out the center, I'll explain why I did that in just a second, but I'm going to flop this up, get my glue bottle, and I'm just going to glue under that area where the top part of this goes. Give that a press, and I'm going to hold that down and kind of use my finger just to hold this up. I'll let it fall down as soon as I get the glue bottle underneath, and then I'm just making a little wiggly line of glue kind of in the shadow. Not the entire shadow, but in the shadow area of that glitter cardstock. I'll lift this up again. I tilted it so I can't see the shadow very well. And before I press that down, I'm going to come along this side and do the same thing. There we go. Give it a press. And now I have really good centering on this. And the reason I cut it out, the center, is two reasons. One is to save that expensive glitter cardstock. And two is because usually when you glue the background on top of a glitter cardstock, it has a tendency to lift. So if you have this center portion cut out, this background piece where I put the liquid adhesive on is going to stick really good to that cardstock below that glitter cardstock. So I'm going to add my liquid adhesive here. Another tip, if you did not know, is I like to do little zigzag lines along the outside edge of my background here. And the reason I do the little zigzag lines and don't do like a straight line along the outside edge is because when you press down, it prevents that glue from erping out too bad because of the zigzags and not being in a straight line. If it's in a straight line and you push down on the other side, when you push it down, it only has two directions to go. And when you do the zigzag line, only a small portion is close to the edge, so you're getting the coverage of having it glued to the edge, but when you press down, not a lot will erp out from the sides. I hope that makes sense. It does to me. So here is my card, and I have a couple more examples for you, and that'll be our next secret word, example. Okay, and I completely forgot how many words we're up to. I think we're up to 4. I think that was the 4th word. But I will show you. I've done them in a couple more colors. And I also, on these other two, I did not put a sentiment on. But I did do the butterflies that are in the center of that stencil. Let me show you again. Here's the stencil, and there's the butterflies that are in the middle. I did stencil them on these two cards, and I just matted them with actually 2 different colors of cardstock and silver glitter cardstock. But I'm really happy with the way these turned out. I hope that you give them a try. Don't forget, all of the giveaway details are in the description box below. I'll say that we're going to start the giveaway on February 10th, and we'll go through to, let's say, the 15th, because I'm busy on Friday and Saturday, and I'll put it on my calendar, and I don't want to forget. So we'll go through till 11:59 p.m. on February 15th, 2026, in case you're watching this a year from now. And the giveaway will end at 11:59, February 15th, 2026. And remember, there's 3 of them, so there's a really good chance that you could be a winner of one of those stencils. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.